smoke. That's my first Ohio deer ever, baby. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Wicked Stix podcast, or the Wicked Podcast. Brandon and Hunter here. We also have got Hunter Williams, and today we've got Brad from Foggy Buck. If you might have already seen him at around the shows around South Carolina, North Carolina, that they go to Buckarama in Georgia. They are our feed, seed, mineral suppliers here at the Wicked Stix. And guys, well, I can just go ahead and tell you, their products are phenomenal. Our deer love them. We have started using the Foggy Buck system, and it has made a tremendous difference in the amount of deer that we see on camera and how we pattern our deer. So Brad, welcome, and we are excited to have you on the Wicked Podcast.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it, Brandon, Hunter, and Hunter. Have enjoyed our relationship, and we hope to continue to keep growing it. And we appreciate what you guys are doing, and we're just glad to put out product for everyone. A little bit of background, Foggy Buck Outdoors. We really started it in the basement about 12 or 13 years ago, give or take. Officially became an LLC in 2020, so we're coming up on our 6th year in business. And the way we started is we were like everyone. We're buying products to put out. We want to grow bigger deer. We want to attract more deer. And really, the key was looking after the health of the herd. We want good does, healthy does to breed and take care of fawns. We want big bucks. Everybody wants a big buck, right?
Yeah.
So our goal was to, what can we do to create a better habitat for our deer and our wildlife. It expands beyond deer, of course. But we were buying products, and not to knock anything, but we were somewhat disappointed in what we were buying. There were a few brands that are out there that we just that's it. We'd open it, put it on the ground, and we're like, so we started really doing some studying and looking at researching some deer biology and deer biologists and what they were saying, what they recommend, what's your habitat going to supposed to look like. And so we started working with formulations. And we probably started with our mineral first, because that was we saw that as probably the most cost-effective way to really boost and shock, give a good bump to your deer herd. And making that, and then we've moved into some protein blends, and then from there, food plots. We're like, what can we grow to keep something going all year, and then supplement with food plot with deer mineral, and supplement with protein feeds to keep deer on our property, to grow them bigger, keep them healthier, and so that's sort of the way things started. Then we branched out, from there. We actually have several retailers that we work with. And we work with a lot of the independent, we'll say, local feed and seed stores. Because we just don't, we don't try to, we want to understand how it is to be a small business, and we want to work with people on smaller quantities. You don't have to buy pallets of our product. You can buy smaller quantities, try it, you like it. And we believe in a like you said, Brandon, we call it a system. And we sort of jokingly internally talk about a Foggy Buck feeding system. And the way we envision that is, if you have a piece of property that you own or lease, or where you can, plant a food plot. Get your plot in there, whether it be a spring, summer, fall blend. Get a food plot in, and then you've got something growing for your deer. And then on top of it, we put in some protein feeds, and then add a mineral site, and that keeps something going on all year long. Especially now, these deer, we're coming out of season. These deer are they get enough to keep them alive, and to give them, we call them the minimum maintenance requirements. That's the foods that help them stay alive. But does it, it really, it could be better. It can always be better, right?
Yeah.
So they have that, especially in the South. Deer aren't, our winters aren't so cold and so brutal where deer are going to starve to death. They're going to be able to find vegetation and food. But what we've studied and learned are, a target for lactating bucks is a 14% crude protein and a 0.3% phosphorus. Okay, so if they can get more protein, greater than 14%, 15, 16, 20% protein, just think of how much better that's going to be for them. Same thing with the phosphorus. It's we when you come by our booths and it shows and stuff, we talk about, Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. He didn't get to be, Mr. Olympia by eating jelly donuts, right? We love jelly donuts; they're great, they're tasty, we love them, but they don't do anything other than add that flab in the middle, right?
Yeah, some of us like them a little too much.
Exactly. Yeah, I like them a lot myself. So it's not going to add anything. So we try to develop products that are going to add to help increase the mass, the body weight. Everybody wants the horn or the antlers, but we want bigger antlers, and we want bigger, healthier lactating does. The first thing that happens for those of us who have children, your wife goes to the OBGYN, and they put her on prenatal vitamins, and what are they high in? Calcium. So you want calcium, phosphorus, those type of things for a healthier herd, if you will.
Yeah.
That leads me into product like our Rack Max. Rack Max Deer Minerals, our deer mineral. You guys have used it well, and recent videos, man, they're hitting it, and now's the time. People say wait till spring, green up. We believe now's the time, because the deer are dropping their antlers in certain places. We know the does are pregnant, so they're going to need the calcium and phosphorus. And what we've done is we've done a lot of studying with biologists, and looked at the ratios, and they need that 2-to-1 calcium to phosphorus ratio. And our Rack Max does that. It's going to hit you with about 13 to 15% calcium, 7% phosphorus. That's on your minimum side. Where we differ is we don't add a lot of salt. You're going to have about 29% salt. And then all a slew of micronutrients, vitamin A, B, D, E. You're going to have a little zinc, you're going to have some copper, magnesium, cobalt, various micronutrients in there. And that was one thing we looked at when we were trying to make these blends too. Is we tell everyone, and you'll hear us say over and over again, and it's amazing I haven't said it already, read the label. Whatever you're buying, just pick up the bag before you buy it. You see the price, flip it over, read the label, and find out what's in it. Salt, for example, we believe salt's a 4-letter word, and because it's an inexpensive filler. Deer love salt, animals love salt. Look at your cows; they love, they eat blocks of salt. We as humans, we eat salt. We love salt, and we got to have some salt. But at what point does it? All you're doing is just, if you want to attract, you can do that with some salt, but you're really not helping your herd any. So
yeah, I was going to say, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I've been told before is salt is like candy for deer. They love it, but there's no nutritional value to it.
Correct. Yeah, it's exactly right. So why have all of it? You're just, why not give them some salt, and that's where we max out at 29%, because and that's not just us magically saying this is what they need. This is from the years of study we've done and looking at what biologists recommend. We max out at 29%, and then give you higher calcium, higher phosphorus rates. And then another thing we'll do too is we'll add a sweet little cherry berry flavor in there to help attract. They're going to find it. Deer, their sense of smell is so great, but man, we boost that to try to just give them a little bit of extra help in locating it. The way we recommend doing it is just off a trail, about 30, 40, 50 yards from your stand, or if you want to put it right up next to your stand, that's fine too. A trail off your stand, if you've got a dead log, stump, man, we just believe that's a great place. You can just load up that stump or that log and just watch. We like to do that. We like to watch the deer just tear that log and that stump up. They dig into that wood. As the nutrients go into that wood, the deer just rip it apart, and it's just fun to watch. And that leads me into the cherry berry. It's not just a flavoring. All right, so our product, our Rack Max Complete Deer Mineral, contains a product we call Top Coat RX, and you can buy that separately as well. It's a corn and feed coating, but it's more than that. It was a product that was developed in the hog and used in the hog and beef cattle industry. It contains an herbal supplement which has garlic, anise, thyme, ginger, capsaicin, rosemary, and all those provide an all-natural immune support for your herd. It also enhances blood flow, aids in digestion, and has antibacterial and antifungal and antiviral properties. And that has that cherry berry aroma. We blend that into the mineral, so you get sort of the best of both worlds, if you will, which helps them find it. Going into food plot blends, I know, y'all stop me when you want to.
I do want to touch on one thing with the mineral and the Rack Max before we go. I mean, obviously, just talking about mineral in general, it's good for your deer. But the time of year that we're in right now, the time of year that we're talking about, we're after deer season, it's cold, it's raining, snowing, depending on where you're at. I mean, it's very possible all the food's gone and you don't know which deer made it and which ones didn't. So, I mean, we've seen it firsthand. I got pictures this morning that my target buck, he made it. So I get to hunt him another year. And putting at your mineral site, especially this time of year, is just a really good way to also do inventory.
Yeah, and that's the first place he was this morning. That's the first time we'd seen him, and we had just put that bag of Rack Max out yesterday.
Yeah.
So either it was just luck of the draw, or he smelled it and come right to it. And he had another buck in tow with him. He had he had a little bit younger buck.
Yeah, I saw that buck.
That tells me that they're already starting to bachelor back up a little bit. So, I mean, they're fixing to start dropping sheds, and they're going to be looking for that mineral. So the Rack Max we run mineral year round. We always keep a mineral site going. We've been doing it since we first got your product, and like I said, it's made a tremendous difference, especially on trail camera data, because we know, and they know when they need it, and they know when they want it, and they know it's always going to be there, no matter if they got to dig a hole to get to it, which they did.
Which they have done. Yep.
At your place last year. So, I mean, it's always a guaranteed inventory spot is on the Rack Max.
Thank you. Yeah, and to your point, we agree. We run mineral sites year round as well, because we all know. At this time of year, deer they're coming after it hard, because man, they know, like you said, Brendan, they know what they need.
Yeah.
And so they're coming to get it. They're coming to get that boost to rebuild all that chasing and breeding and everything they've been doing all year. And to your point, they'll hit it really hard through the summer into the fall. The fawns will get it because the mom's going to have that for the lactation. Right, and they may back off in the winter, or late fall, But what I found over my years are the bucks and the does, they still come check it. You know what I'm saying? It's another way to pattern your deer. It's almost too easy, really, because it's about the least expensive thing you can do and the easiest thing you can do. 5 minutes.
No, without a doubt.
You've got a mineral site down, and you've got something that's going to keep on working. And once you put them on the ground, I mean, you know, and you refresh it, but still, those minerals go into the ground. They're gonna pattern.
Yeah, I mean, your first dose, put a whole bag out on your site, and then it's like half a bag a month is what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just top it off. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, with the way we do our product, it's a 6-pound bag, and you know, and people don't think, they say, "Oh, that's not a lot." Well, you don't need 20 pounds.
No,
Yeah.
it lasts a lot longer than what most people think it
Yeah,
does.
it's like a concentrate, if you will. I mean, you put, like you said, you put a bag or half a bag to start it. I think you could probably get 3 bags for 5 months. I mean, I'm short selling it because, you know, I want everybody buy a lot more, but
Yeah.
you don't need it. You know, we're just telling you, you know, we want you to have what you need, and 3 bags, man, that should push you about 5 months easily.
Easy.
Per side.
Yeah, what is the shelf life? Say you open a bag, put half a bag out, you know, put it on the shelf in the garage or whatever. How long will that last after a bag's been open? How long would you say it's still good for?
That's a good question, Hunter. It really is not going to go bad. What you will have in true minerals, okay, not with salt, but with true minerals, is any kind of aroma additive you put in there. A true mineral will absorb it. You're not going to really lose. It's going to take a couple of years or so before you, like a vitamin, you know what I'm saying, before you start losing efficiency with your vitamins. It's same thing. It's going to take a couple of years once you open the bag and it's sitting in the air, and you might lose a little bit over about 2 years. But the first thing you'll notice is you might not smell as potent. That cherry berry might not knock you down like it does when you first open it, and that's just because it's not bad. It's just the vitamins absorb that. Now, if you took plain salt and mixed it with a flavoring, the salt won't absorb it like the vitamins will. It's that phosphorus, calcium, those things that'll absorb it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, your bags that are rack max, they're resealable.
At 100%. Yeah, you can seal them back up, and you don't have to, you know, sit them. They don't have to sit. Yeah. So you buy 3 bags, like say you go to the Dixie Deer Classic, for example. You buy 3 bags. You don't have to worry about it through this season and into the next. We've got people buy our food plot blends, and they sit on the shelf for a year. Keep them in a cool, dry place. You're fine. You're good. Yeah, it's not gonna lose a germination rate type thing.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
plus.
I just wondered, I cleaned the side-by-side out in the snow, playing in the snow last weekend, and found a half a bag of Rat Max. I said, hey, look at there.
Hey, you're good, man. Put that stuff out. It's good.
I'll tell you, like I tell my kids, you see what you find whenever you clean up?
Hey, yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you straighten up a little bit. But
Yeah, it was under about 10 bags of empty corn.
There you go.
Well, that brings us to our next thing that I really want to jump into. That is the feed, and y'all have 2 different types of feed. Y'all have a Bean Freak, which is a corn and soybean blend, and then you have the Wicked Mix, which we've been running, and my deer back here behind the house have been absolutely hammering. That's a protein mix blend. It's got peanuts, whole peas, split peas, roasted soybeans. I mean, it's got everything but the kitchen sink in it. And the deer absolutely hammer it. So go into the feed a little bit. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, all right. So I'll start with Bean Freak because it came out first, right? Well, it was one of the first things we rolled out. You know, again, we were looking for products we could put in a feeder, whether it's spin, drop, you know, whatever. And we want whole grain. We were buying products that were powder, if you will. And we're like, you know, it just wasn't what we were looking for. And we didn't want, you know, not to knock anything, but we don't do pellets. That's just not us. We try to do more whole grain products. And so we started doing some blends, and Bean Freak's one we came out with. It's like I said, it's going to have it's going to have a little bit of corn, It's going to have roasted soybeans, and deer love roasted soybeans.
No doubt.
And what we also do, we wrap it with persimmon flavor and attractant. And with the bean freak, you can actually smell that through the bag. So that gives that super high, attracting smell. It's going to come out about 22% protein, about 12% fat, and 7% fiber. We've had nothing but great success out of that product. And yet, then getting into your Wicked mix, we really rolled that thing out. We started tinkering with it about 2 years ago, and we had an ingredient that we couldn't figure out what to do with. We liked, but we were like, how we do this? And so we played around with it and ended up with the Wicked mix. But it's got it's gonna have a blend of pea, like split peas, if you will, pea splits, not split peas, pea split, whole corn, roasted soybeans, raw soybeans, peanut splits, and oats. So it does have a little bit of everything in there. It's going to be 18% protein, and then 6% fat and a 5% fiber. We put a little cherry aroma in there, but what you'll find is we as humans might not be able to detect much of it because the peas absorb that odor. And just sort of like the minerals absorb the aroma. I'll say odor, it's not odor, it's aroma. Minerals absorb an aroma. The peas will do the similar thing. But man, these deer, they hit it and they love it. And,
But we can't keep it. We can't keep it out.
We can't.
Yeah, and then, like I said, it's a newer product. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not even on the website yet. And we are lucky. We were honored to be able to run it because it has been amazing in our gravity feeders. We did have a little trouble with the split peanuts and our spin caster. So anybody listening that's wanting to run this product through a spin plate style feeder, it will spit it out, but it will hang up occasionally. So we just decided to run the Bean Freak and all of our spin plates, but our gravity feeders are getting hit, our trough style and gravity style are getting hit constantly, round the clock. Especially after all this snow, it's been an open buffet at the trough, and there's been 8, 9, 10 deer in there at a time, just feeding off this stuff in daylight. I know that the feed works. I know the deer eat it. I shot a doe off of one this year, off of a Wicked Mix feeder, so I know it works. It feeds them and it feeds us. So.
It does, yeah. It works, and that's sort of what we were getting to. That's another thing. Good point you bring up is, when we bring out these products, we just don't say, hey, this is a great idea. We think this is a good idea. Let's do it. We're like, hey, we got an idea. Let's try this. So we might make it in the basement. We might put it out. What we do, we put it on our own properties. We share with friends and folks, and we're like, try this where you are. Try this where you are, and it might go a year or two before we pull the trigger on something. Like the Wicked Mix. We were shy one ingredient, and we're like, we can't roll this thing out if we can't support it.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And so that's what we did. We waited till we could find somebody, till we could support it, and then we're like, okay, now we're ready to go forward. So yeah, it's open to try. They work. We know they work, and everyone that tries it has success. And again, I tell people, read the labels again, because if you go to your favorite store and you'll see a product you might be using, and you'll see a price. You're like, yeah, okay. And you try to compare the price. Well, compare what's in the product. You'll see some things that if you compare price to the label versus just price to price. There's a term called value. We try to offer a value. What are you looking for? If you want to help the deer, you got to do something primarily more than corn, unless that's your thing. And I know people listening here, they're always looking for something. Folks here are trying to do like we're all doing. They want to grow bigger deer. And that's food, and then letting the little ones walk, because we all know managing what you take.
Mm-hmm.
Can't manage neighbors, but you can manage you. That type of scenario. But yeah, and then you want me to roll into the food plots, or
Yeah. So that's our next big thing. Well, you was talking about newer products. I know y'all had sent us a test plot to try out this past season, and I got mine in the ground. It was a 3 green mix. So you can go ahead and tell everybody about that, because y'all are fixing to release that one. That is your new. That's a brachia mix, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
is that
it's brassica blend. Cause that's going to be the newest thing. If I'm gonna back up though and build into that one, if that's
okay?
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then to get I'll bring us where we were and where we are with this new product. So we started our first blend was a product called Uncle Ted's Premium Buck Plot Mix. 7 grains, a no-till product. I'll call us average hunters, because man, we don't have access to big equipment, big tracts of land. We do have a tractor, but the places we hunt, you can't get a tractor in there. You can put it in your backpack. You can take this backpack sprayer, might get your 4-wheeler in there. It's little hidden kill plots, if you will. Yeah, so we want to develop something. What do we need that goes back there? We were buying these national brands. We'd throw them out, and we're like, okay, there's ryegrass, and there's 1 or 2 brassica seeds. How's that help us?
Where's everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did. And P.S. If everybody listening, man, stay away from ryegrass, because it's an invasive plant, and good luck if you ever get rid of it. It's just it's something that's not a good thing. So that's just my 2 cents, and that's anyway. But so we did Uncle Ted's Premium Buck Plot Mix, and it's a no-till. It's 7 grains. You've got oats, peas, rape, radish, daikon radish, crimson clover, sorghum, and purple top turnips. Another way we differ, again, talk about fillers. Oats are our fillers in this product, but we're going to max out at 39%. Go find your favorite blend, pick it up, and see what's in it. See what your filler is. The first thing listed generally is your fillers.
Ryegrass.
Look at how much of a filler they put in there.
Yeah. 50-60% of ryegrass.
Yeah, it could be ryegrass, rye, oats, wheat, those things are used as fillers, but look at how much they put in there. Like I said, we maxed at 39% of oats. And this product, there was an Uncle Ted. He passed away this spring, and he helped him. He was one of these guys that had a green thumb, and he could hunt deer. He could walk out and just. It made it look too easy, and so we sort of honored him when he was still alive. We honored him with the name, just because this thing it's easy. If you want something that's the easiest thing to plant, then all you got to do is have bare earth. If these seeds touch bare earth and get moisture, they're going to grow. This plot and most of what we do are nitrogen heavy, meaning they produce nitrogen, versus like corn, for example. A farmer has to plant corn, then he goes out before the corn is planted. He'll either heavily fertilize, or he'll put in a crop rotation behind something that produces, because corn sucks all the nitrogen out of the ground. These put nitrogen back in the ground, but it's just easy. 10, 10, 10, or 13, 13. 13 is all you need if you want to fertilize, which we recommend doing. The more you can do, the better. If you can do a pH test, if you've got equipment where you can make a nice firm seed bed and then press the seed on the bed, great. If you can't, man, just go out there, rake it, spread it. If you can tamp it on it, make it, or when it's raining even, where it pack, just something where it has good contact. You're good to go.
Yeah, see, I went and did mine right before we got about 6 inches worth of snow. We just went in there, cleared it out, and I just spread it out over the soil. 2 days later, I just left it on top. I didn't press it down, rake over it, nothing. I just left it on top of the dirt. 2 days later, we got 6 inches worth of snow, and we went over there the other day, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
We went yesterday, and You can't see a bit of seed. That snow come in, and it took it all down into the soil with it when it
That's
melted.
perfect. And you lead a good point. Frost seeding. You can It's a
Mm-hmm.
good frost seed type product. I mean, you could do that. It's going to be the same thing. And then, man, you talking about minimal. I'm going to do that this year. I've got some plots that we always have to go in and spray and spray and spray. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go and just frost seed them. And I may still have to come back. I don't know. I may have to spray, but I think it's going to take care of a lot of my weed problem.
And see, that's one thing we talked since it got brought up. I want to touch on this is frost seeding. I've heard and seen a lot of people talking about whenever it comes to frost seeding, they think it has to be with snow. Because 9 times out of 10, that's when people do it. Snow's on the ground, you frost seed, and whenever the snow melts, it takes it all back down in there. But it works just the same as if you've got bare soil and you got a good rain coming in. The rain's going to do the same thing that the snow does. So down here, we don't get snow like that every year. I mean, it's my oldest son, he's 6 years old, and this is the 3rd time he's played in snow in his life, and one of them was in Ohio. So we don't get snow like that down here, so frost seeding is not restricted to just snow.
No.
No, I would agree. It's anytime there's frost on the ground, then it defrosts, warms up. I mean, it's just
Right. Because all it is, the term frost seeding, now correct me if I'm wrong, all it is basically using the rain, the snow, the frost, whatever moisture is on the ground, whenever it seeps into the soil, it takes the seed with it. And so it doesn't matter what the moisture is, whether it's rain, snow, or frost, it doesn't matter. It's going to take it down into the soil with it when the soil absorbs the moisture.
If you think of the frost, when a ground frost, you'll see those little icicles pop up, at the top of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it just like you said, so you got little icicles, and then when it thaws during the day, it just goes to a flat ground, and like you said, it just pulls it right to the right depth, and it's just a good, easy way to do, to plant. And also I'll go on too with this being a brassica blend, if you will, where it's got rape radish, turnips in there with the other seeds. That's something that people ask us for a shade plot. This doesn't require Uncle Ted's doesn't require quite as much sun, maybe 4 hours, if you will. It can be used back in some little more shady spots. I mean, obviously, people will ask us what grows in total shade. Well, you ever heard of a thing called photosynthesis? You got to have some sunshine.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit.
You got to have something, but this will will grow pretty well back in the shade. And and we've talked before about turnips and radish, how deer may or may not dig up and eat those turnips and radish. The seed, I'll call it the bulbs in the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really, we tell people not to panic over that, because they're eating the leaves, and that's high protein. Like, for example, a rape leaf is about 19% protein and about 3% phosphorus. Well, right there, man, if you get that plant in, you've exceeded what you need to do for your deer.
Yeah, whether they're hitting the bulb or not, they're still getting what they need from it.
Exactly. Yeah, the bulb's an extra, and it's really sugar anyway for them. But but what you notice with the bulb, a lot of areas we hunt are red clay. So those bulbs, man, they bust up that soil and that clay. They loosen it so it's not so compact. And again, they're nitrogen producing, so it's putting it back into the ground. And so you're getting benefit even though they're not eating the bulb. They're taking that plant. It's back to Brandon, what you said a while ago. The deer know what they need and get what they need. So leaving Uncle Ted's for a moment is, we wanted to expand past that. And Uncle Ted's, by the way, can be used spring or fall. It'll carry you through pretty well. But we were asked for we were looking for a good summer blend, something for warmer temperatures. What can we plant in the midsummer, or so we come up with Buck Wild. It's called Buck Wild Forage Blend. It's a 4-grain. It's going to have soybeans, buckwheat, sunflower, and sorghum. And the soybeans in there are your fillers. You're about 37% soybeans, which is a pretty good filler to have, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
A
that's
lot
going
better
to be
than ryegrass.
a lot better than ryegrass. You know, where Buck Wild differs from Uncle Ted's is the seed. You'll notice the seeds are a little bigger, with the exception of buckwheat. These have to have a little bit more of a depth, maybe quarter inch, half inch.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Uncle Ted's, it can just soil contact, maybe eighth of an inch, and you're good to go. These take a little bit more soil contact. You have to. We still do in the hidey hole plots. Man, we'll just till it up or with a hand tiller, or if we can, or a little mini garden tiller if we can get back there, and then we just make sure we take a rake and cover it up, and as long as you cover it good, you're good to go. But it's a really good plot. The issue we've had with Buck Wild is people say, well, our sunflower's not coming up, and our soybeans aren't coming up. We're like, no, they're coming up. We look at them and no, they're coming up. You just got way too many deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to start thinning out some deer, because they get them early. They love that plot, and they'll get it really early. But it's a really good blend. Good, for something for the summer. To go put something in the summertime, it's a good one. But leading into what you started with, Brandon, talking about the 3 greens, we're going to call that trophy greens. It's going to be a 3 grain. It is a 3 grain plot: rape, radish, and turnips. It's just a good brassica blend. We've been working with that and been asked for it for a while, and you guys have tested it out.
Mm-hmm.
With us.
It's beautiful whenever it comes up.
It is. It's a green carpet. I mean,
We've got some pictures of it. We can overlay it onto the video form if that's all right with you.
Yeah, please.
But
please
I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. They come up here, Brandon's like no other.
Yeah, we had a similar success with it. Man, these leaves, they were huge. And we've got, and I need to share them with you, some photographs that we pulled some of these radishes and these turnips. We had one this year. I mean, it was as big as your forearm. It was like a baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was probably, I don't know, it was huge. And that was a Dakin radish that we pulled out of the ground. And then these turnips were like softballs. But again, it's just going to be a really good fall type blend that's going to be that really gonna carry through, and you can do it now if you want to get something out in the spring, but it's going to give the deer what we need. I'm gonna back up a minute on Uncle Ted's. I didn't really talk about this, but with the 7 grains, one of the grains being clover. Let's say you planted Uncle Ted's in the fall. That's going to roll in. You're going to really see the purple, the red crimson clover popping through in the spring when it's time to go turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And you'll have some success there. So we try to design these things to roll into each other. Where again, we call it a system, man. We want the deer to have something year round, to keep them healthy, keep them eating, keep them patterned, and keep them attracted, and keep them on our property, your properties, versus wandering somewhere else. We know they're going to disperse, right? The natural dispersion, that's going to happen. But
Well, we've talked about it plenty of times on here. Deer don't know property lines.
No.
They go wherever they want to go, but if you have what they want and what they need on your property, then they're not going to go as far.
Exactly. Yep. And you got the does during the rut. You got the ladies.
Well, yeah, that's where they're going to be. Them bucks are going to go bar hopping, and
That's
if your
right.
bar is where they're at, that's where they're going.
Yeah, and
Your
word gets
bar's
around
got the
who's
best
got the
food and the
ladies.
best drinks. Yeah, that's where they're going.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Which Hunter, he don't know nothing about that. Hunter don't drink.
Hunter, that's the way.
But before we go any further, well, I mean, we've pretty much covered, for the most part, we've covered the products that you get with Foggy Buck. You've got your mineral, you got your feed, and you got your food plots. But each one that we've talked about, one of the things that you have touched on that I wanted to bring up is reading your label. So, and you brought it up earlier when we were talking about the mineral. If you're wanting to compare price to price, that's one thing. But if you're going to compare price to label, that's a completely different story. And I live by, you get what you pay for.
100%.
So if you're wanting just a whole bunch of salt that's not going to, really benefit your deer in any way, shape, or form, then by all means do that. Nobody's going to knock you for it. But if you're going to spend the money and actually benefit your deer herd, it's just, you get what you pay for. And I wanted to touch on that before we got away from it.
No, I 100% agree with you. It's value, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
That's it's not price as much as value.
Correct.
And we're not over. I mean, we're
No, not at all.
very-
Yeah, I don't want to say that and thinking you got, if anybody's out here
Thinking
wanting
that-
to, their Foggy Buck is not stupid expensive.
No.
It's
By all
not.
means.
It's reasonably priced, especially for what you're getting.
And you can also use our code, Wicked Hunt.
I'm glad you brought that in. Go ahead. Use it.
You get
Go.
20%
There you
off
go.
site-wide at foggybuck.com. So,
Love the
Right.
segue, Brandon.
Yeah,
That was
that was
beautiful.
good, that was
I
good.
love it.
We set you up on that one, Brandon.
Yeah,
that's
set
right.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but exactly to your point.
You fell right into
it. It's about value, and it's about what you want. And here again, I go back to, man, if you want to be, the probably the two most price conscious ways you could do something to improve your property is that, if you can, the time and effort for a food plot, and that'd be probably, well, and deer mineral, the protein feed, that's going to come extra. But man, if you can get a food plot and mineral inside in, you'd be surprised at how much better you would have it, and how much better your herd is going to be. 1 year you'll see an increase, but by year 2 and 3, that's when you'll really see a big time jump.
Well, that's like we had talked about. We talked about it a little bit before we started recording, and we talked about this book in particular a lot on our podcast, just as a whole. It's a book. I've got him on camera all the way back to 22. We call him Moose. He's real wide, short time. I have not seen that book on camera since post rut, and I was really getting worried that somebody else had got him. Well, it's that time of year, so we went down and we did the mineral site with the Rack Max, and less than 24 hours, I've got him on camera. I now know that he had made it, and this coming deer season, as long as he doesn't get hit by a car, I will be chasing a 6.5-year-old deer. And the only reason right now that I know he made it is because he's still holding, so I know it's him. There's no doubt about it. And he come in and he hit the Rack Max. And so, I mean, that goes back to what I talked about earlier. It's beneficial for your herd, and if you're wondering if your buck made it or not, a mineral site's a surefire way to find out.
Yeah, we really believe in them. And matter of fact, he hit the mineral site a bunch last year.
Yeah, I've got him on in the early, I guess, still in velvet. I had him on our mineral site, and then didn't see him again for a little bit until he started hitting scrapes. And then at that time frame, I had him in food plots and hitting the scrapes. And then when the rut was over, I didn't have him anymore until now. I've got him on the Rack Max again. He's back in there hitting the mineral. So, and he's getting older now, so I'm really hoping that home range is starting to shrink a little bit. If I can wrap a tag around a 6.5-year-old buck here in South Carolina, I will be over the moon.
That'd be awesome.
You could be the camera guy after that.
Yeah, I'll definitely be your camera guy after that. I'll film for anybody. That'll be the only tag I feel. I'll quit hunting that year.
You could be the camera guy.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, so you've hit the code. So yeah, welcome to check out the website, foggybuck.com. Like I said, we also work through retailers. So there's small retailers out there, independents, I'll call it. You want to give our products a shot, put them in your store. We love to partner with you there. We don't require, again, huge minimums. We try to work with with people however they want to work, however we can. We want to make everything successful. That's the key, and then we'll be at some hunting shows coming up. We'll have our products there. Great, we always do great values there. Some good combos, if you will, just to try products out. We understand, cost to get in a show, but we price things so that mitigates any cost you've done. You come in there and you can just really try them for a real value. And we'll be up at the Dixie Deer Classic February 27th through March 1st. Then we're doing the Palmetto Sportsman Classic March 27th through the 29th. So March is a busy month. And then we're working on the PD Classic July 25th to the 27th in Florence. And if you know the lady there, have her reach out to us. I know we've sent multiple messages and emails and no return yet. I think, so if you know somebody, send her a note if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's still pretty early in the season for ours, so that's probably why.
And I had reached out to Cody Young. He's over Whitetails Unlimited for South Carolina. I don't remember his exact title, so Cody, I apologize. But he has her personal information, and he sent it to me. Because I know we had talked about maybe doing a booth side-by-side at the PD show.
We don't want to lose a spot. We'd love to get in on that. And we understand, we do these shows, so we have to book them a year in advance. Like when we're there, before we leave, we have to book for next year because you lose it. Then we'll do the Buckarama that I think you alluded to, Brandon, in August 14th through 16th. That's in Perry, Georgia. That's the Georgia National Fairground. That's a good show too. All these are good. We'll have all our products, and we also rep Huntworth Clothing, and we'll have.
And our code works for that too, just for the record.
Yes.
Say again.
Our code works for that also.
Yeah, 100%. It works for everything on our site. So yeah, from clothes to food plot, deer mineral, anything you want, anything we have. And we don't have all the clothing, all the Huntworth clothing on our website. But if there's something that you see that you like, you just send us a message or email sales@foggybuck.com. It's a good way to get in touch with us, and we'll take care of it. But we'll have all the Tarnin pattern, which is the groundbreaking initial pattern they did, which is more of it's an organic shape, very layered, a lot of visual randomness. We'll have Disruption, which is more of a digital pattern, and the Verdict, which is an open abstract pattern. It's a newer pattern. Then we'll have the all new waterfowl. We'll have some of that. That'll be more in limited because it's so new. I'm actually going to try that out maybe end of the month a little bit to see what it looks like. But we will in the clothing way we'll do it at the shows. We'll have some sets. For example, we'll have a one price where you can come in and you can get a shirt, you can get a pant, you'll be able to get a pair of gloves, a hat, a face gaiter, and a pair of socks made in North Carolina.
I need some more of those socks. I'm glad you brought that up because I need more of those socks.
We'll have them with us at the show. We'll have light, medium, and heavy beast socks. But anyway, we'll have a way we'll do it at the show is we'll have combo sets. So, you can come in and buy all the lightweight stuff you need for turkey season, for opening day deer season at one really, really, really valued price. And
yeah, y'all done got me twice on that.
Well, you got a couple more patterns to pick from, so we can get you again. But
yeah,
I know that show we went to. He walked out with a bunch of camouflage, and I walked out with feed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's one of the first ones. But we'll have we do the lightweights, and then we'll also have the combos on mids and heavies. And we just try to, we've had really good success with the Huntworth. We believe in it. We like it. We met these guys several years ago and made a good connection. And we do this the same way. Retailers that work with us is, most retail, and people don't realize this, but when a retailer buys clothing, they'll have to buy in large quantities, like mixed dozens. So let's just say this shirt, for example, they might have to buy 12, but they get a small, 2 mediums, 2 large, 2XL, and so many doubles. So at the end of the season, they're stuck with this size or this size, and they paid for them, but so that's why they mark things down. But the way we work with our retailers is we will come in and we're like, what size is your clientele? And they'll say, okay, Brad, I don't need any doubles and I don't need smalls. I just need my clientele is large and XL. Okay, then how many you want to buy? And they'll say, we'll sell them 5, 6, 1, 2, so many sets of this. So you don't have to have that big cash outlay when you work with us. We as reps for Huntworth, we can work things around. We can do a mixed dozen price. We can do onesie twosies, I guess is the way to say it. And you build your own inventory with us. So I guess that's a way, you know what you need, your clientele. We're not telling you what you have to buy. You don't have a minimum buy-in. You just what do you want to try? What do you want to do? That's the way we try to work it.
Now, you do the same thing with your mineral and your seed and everything else. If anybody wanted it in their storefront. Now,
100%.
do you guys have a storefront? I don't think we've talked about this.
That's a really good question. We get asked that a lot. Sometimes you think we do, the way we look, right? We give that appearance of a retail, but we're not. We're more wholesale, and then our only retail is the website.
Okay.
And then it shows. We'll sell at shows.
And y'all's booth, they look awesome at these shows.
Yeah, they have a good looking booth.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we're here right now. Is I was walking through the Dixie Deer Classic and I seen all the Huntworth. I looked at my wife. I said, I want to check this stuff out in person because there's nobody local to us that sells Huntworth. And so I went over there and started checking it out. Me and you got to talking, and then the next show, which was in Columbia, all of us had a meeting, and now here we are.
Exactly. Yeah, and thank you. My partner Jody built the booth. I mean, he's the man behind that idea, man. With from the table, he's so good at woodworking. And and it takes us a while to assemble and disassemble that thing, but it is good looking, and I give him all that credit. Matter of fact, we were talking the day before yesterday about Dixie Deer. We're gonna how we got to change it a little bit because we got all these clothing. The clothing we want to really show, and that's another thing too. Not only for us men, we have women's clothing, hunting clothing, and a true women's meaning it's styled and cut for a woman. It's not she's not having to wear a man's pair of pants and jacket. A lady can get it, and we've outfitted a couple of those ladies at some shows. It's good looking gear, and it works. It keeps you good and warm. We were brand guys, man. I've spent a lot of money on some premium hunting gear, and it worked great, and it was fantastic, and nothing wrong with it. But with the Huntworth, you can probably have a small, a lightweight, midweight, and a heavy set for what you can buy 2 or 3 pieces of some other gear for, and we believe in it, and it works.
Yeah, I mean, I've run it. I think I'm the only one here that, other than you guys, that I currently have the Huntworth stuff, and I texted you the other day. I was wearing the late season bibs and the late season jacket, the heat boost, and underneath it, all I had on was gym shorts and a t-shirt, and I was outside playing in the snow with my kids, and I started sweating.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the gear is some of these heavier weights. If you layer too much, you can almost not let the product do the work. That heat boost. If your body heat get out into it, it'll hold it in. But if you're layered up, if you cut your heat off from getting to that external layer, sometimes it can make you a little colder. But to your point, we got a buddy we hunt with, and he's got some really nice high-end gear, and we were hunting, and I had my Huntworth on, and it might have been my lightweight pants or something, but he was like, man, that's good looking. He said, what, and I said, yeah, and we were talking about it a little bit, and he said, Brad, he said, I'm gonna buy a few sets from you of that stuff. He said, I like it. I like it. It works too. We've got some other folks that we've connected quite a few folks with Hunt World. So a few hunting shows we've connected, and they're on some pro staff that we knew prior to knowing y'all. I mean, it's when we first really started carrying Huntworth, and Huntworth's done a good job. They don't really do a lot of most of the folks out there. Some podcasters, they a couple high, nicer. I say nicer. A couple. I guess they're on Hunt Channel and some of those Pursuit. A few of those.
No,
they
there's
don't
one.
go after.
Nick
That's not the
Hoffman.
first place.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Nick Hoffman.
Yeah,
His name?
Nick was probably the biggest one they went after in the beginning, and then from then they've tied in a lot of podcasts and places, and a couple guys that we know, and we've had conversations. I killed my biggest bow buck. He was chasing, but the doe stopped right behind me, and she looked right up at me, and he looked up at me, and I'm looking at them, and he's 13 yards away, and I drew. I'm like, how it is.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
in the draw. Yeah.
He could, but he never made me out. Didn't know what I was, and that's just one example. I used to have my dog. I'd come back from hunting, and I always wear the tarning, and it does distort the vision. My dog, he'd walk in, I'd walk in the house or walk up to him, and he'd come out all excited, and he'd stop and he'd back down, and he'd just look at me, and he's like, I'm not sure what I'm like. It's your voice. But I'm not sure what I'm seeing here because it distorts that vision. But anyway, it's something to come just check out at the booth, man, and just try it, but just check it out.
Man, I know we're getting kind of pressing on time here, but there was something else I wanted to talk about. I know we're jumping back, but not only the seed blends do y'all sell, but y'all also sell whole seed packets. So you can get a whole bag of red crimson clover, you can get a whole bag of buckwheat or chufa for the turkeys, whatever you want, you can get whole bags of that seed, correct?
That's correct, and thank you for bringing that up. Exactly. We call them trophy seeds, right? And they're just individual seeds. Most things we do plant like a quarter acre or a half acre. That's the bag size. And off the top of my head, I can't recall. Probably quarter acre bags. Pretty good size, actually, on those small seeds. Anything we use, whether it's oats, the radish, turnip, crimson clover. We have ladina clover as a separate seed. We have, like you mentioned, chufa as a separate seed, and we'll have chicory in a separate seed. We haven't created that turkey blend yet. That's maybe down the road, but come by, or let us know. Reach out. We can put together. You can. Between ladina clover, red clover, or crimson clover, and chicory, man, you can make a
banging turkey plot.
Turkey plot, yeah, and chufa.
Yeah.
And chufa's a little different.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna ask. So a lot of people listen to this. They know what clover is. They know what a turnip is. What is chufa? What is it?
All right, chufa. When you look at a bag of chufa, and that's another thing we do too. Everything we do is in a clear bag, or the protein blends are in a clear sided bag, so you can see what's in the bag, right? And we do that on purpose. Okay, that we want you to see what you're getting. And so when you look at that bag of chufa, it looks like dog food. It's about that size. I mean, the seed is about the size of a dry dog food. They're pretty decent, and they grow in, I'll call them clumps, if you will. Almost like a mini monkey grass, if you will, something like that. That's sort of the way it looks. Very bright, vibrant green, but they grow in those clumps, and they have to be planted about a half inch, pretty deep, and generally planted in rows. And then what turkeys will do, they dig up that little tuber, that little seed. That's what they love to dig up. So our recommendation, if you're planting those, let's say you want to put them in a row, or you can broadcast it, but it just has to be covered like about a half an inch, which is pretty deep.
Yeah, that's like a drill type.
It could be. You could broadcast it, but it has to be covered really well. But then what might be an idea, and I think you could do this pretty easily, is plant your chufa, then come in there and broadcast your clover and chicory, because it's a real fine, it needs that soil contact. An eighth of an inch is plenty. You could drive, if you've got a pack or roller or heck, just drive over it with your four-wheeler. Just drive over it, pack it down, and I think you'd see those chicory and clover would come up between the chufa plants, could fill in. That'd probably be a pretty good. Or wait till your chufa starts coming up and then come in there.
Broadcast it right back on top of it. That definitely stop a flop. I know it would.
Ain't no doubt.
Yeah. I know from past years planting chicory and stuff at the farm, the turkeys love it. I mean, they'll be in there, the chicory plots. I planted it a couple of years ago, and it was hot and heavy in the spring. So I know that for a fact that that'll work down here. But I've never planted chufa. That's something I'd like to try. Is that a perennial, annual? I mean,
it's going to be an annual also. Yeah. It's not something that's going to, especially if they dig it up, it's not going to keep coming back. But I mean, red crimson clover is a annual, but I'll have it resprout, in some of our plots. I'll see it come. So it's technically an annual, but it can. I'm not saying it will, because people will say, "Oh, you told me it would." No, it can. And I've seen it do it.
I've seen it back here in the home plot do it. Which you've seen it back here.
I've got a clover plot that I planted years ago. It's well before we got up with it. It was even before we started the podcast. It was just your run-of-the-mill, big-name brand clover mix you can buy at Academy.
Just throw and grow it.
Yeah, pretty much. But, I mean, now in that area, I do not have a food plot there anymore. I don't hunt that area anymore. But I go through it and get into one of my current spots, and you can still see a little bit of clover here. Most of it's weeds now. But like you're saying, clover, it's one of those things that may or may not. It can come back, but it's not a guarantee.
And if you're one of them Hank Hill people that adore their lawn, you know how hard it is to kill clover.
Yeah.
So once you establish it, it's going to be there.
I mean, I've heard and I've seen. Actually, I can cite it. You guys can go look it up. It's Ben Rising. He was talking about one of his clover plots that he set up. He went in, killed everything, got the clover established, and once that whole plot was nothing but clover, no weeds or nothing in it, you keep it mowed, and he said he's redoing his clover plots every 3 to 5 years. So clover is if you maintain it, I mean, yeah, you can have clover for a couple of years off of one plant.
Exactly. You can't.
But
because I think Ladonna, it generally is a 3 to 5 year, something like that. And then, but Crimson's supposed to be more of an annual, but I've seen it regenerate and come back.
Yeah.
Turkeys love it, man. When that red head pops out, I mean, it's a good one. But it's just something I like to see down in the fall. So that springtime, you get a little turkey action, in the chicory. But yeah, we do the single seed. So and again, we always say, man, we love it. Reach out to us. The best way, I mean, you can message us on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, but the best way is to shoot us an email, sales@foggybuck.com, and that's the best way. We'll that's just a good way to communicate. But yeah, check out ask people to check out our social media. We don't, it's not update every daily, but it's good. It's got decent information, some good pictures. We try to share, our friends' success and our our success, and we find joy in other people's successes. That's the whole goal. We want everyone.
Well, I mean, you've got to. Yeah. That's like one hunter. I was there with him the day that he killed that buck on the wall. We had split. He went to one end of the property. I went to the other. And I tell you, I was just as tickled pink that he killed that deer as I would have been if I killed that deer.
Yeah, and that's what life's about, man. You got to be happy for other people.
I called him Michael Waddell for the next 2 weeks.
That's a good thing to be called. He knows what he's doing, man.
Ain't no doubt.
Sure. But Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. We appreciate you guys, what you're doing, and y'all, such great support, and we look to continue to do great things together. It's
Man, I love it.
We look forward to it. It's been a great friendship, and we can't thank you enough for coming on board and becoming basically one of our biggest sponsors in this, and having you on our side. And especially a thank y'all for giving all of our viewers the code Wicked Hunt. Get 20% off site wide. That's a huge savings. So all your feed, seed, mineral, all your hunt worth gear, all your Foggy Buck gear. I mean, you can get it all. Wicked Hunt at foggybuck.com. Make sure you use that code. Brad, we really appreciate you being here today. I know we've been trying to work this out and get everything going, and trial and error, man. We're still building it up, and getting equipment, buying cameras. We was hoping we'd be able to use our new camera today, but
Yeah, see, it's not hooked up. What happened with that?
I'm still working through the technical difficulties.
We're still
of
working
that,
on
but it is what it is. It's a learning curve, man.
That's right. That's what makes life fun, man. Is you learn, and we made it through Snowmageddon, and
Yeah.
So now we're looking for warmer temperatures, and
Turkey season.
Turkey
looking
season.
for turkey season, and then you got pictures. We're getting excited for deer season. It's time to move stands, put in plots. The fun, that's part of the joy, man. It's more than just the hunt.
It's year round.
Man, I tell you, me personally, I love the prep just as much as I do the hunting itself. I
yeah.
love it. Hanging stands, planting food plots, moving cameras. I love it just as much as I do hunting itself.
It's part of the game. It's the game, and you got to play the full game to get the full prize.
That's right.
That's what it
watching
is.
these cameras go off, my wife, she'll say, "What's going on?" And I'm looking at deer porn. When those deer pics go off, man. It's the time. My mom used to say when she was alive, she'd say when I'd be out deer hunting, she said, "Well, at least he's hunting the DEER, the four-legged kind, not the two-legged kind."
There you go.
That's right.
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, kept me out of trouble. So that's what it's. Yeah, man's doing that, or a young person's doing that. You are staying out of trouble.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure. It's way too expensive to do anything else.
yeah. You can't afford nothing else.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Brad, we really do appreciate you being here, man.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good evening.
Yeah, man.
You too.
Everybody, appreciate you watching. Everybody tune in and go to foggybuck.com. Don't forget the code. And thanks to everybody. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it, guys.